From the DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, here's a guy who said this'll be fun and meant emotionally draining. Kyle Peterson.
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again with episode number 58 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And as usual, got my co-host here, a girl with more juke than a jukebox, Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie. Welcome
Hello.
back to episode number 58.
I was just thinking, do I have like those weird knees that look like faces in them? Have
You
you
do.
seen people that have knees?
You do. You got
Let me
some-
know if you see what you see. Is that a bruise?
I don't know. Open those legs up a little bit more. Let's see what's going on. Angie, put some pants on. What are we doing here? But feel free to make yourself comfortable. Feel free to make yourself comfortable for episode 58 here. And Angie, we're filming early this week, so we're just coming off filming the last one.
We're filming early, but we're filming late.
And Angie is on one tonight, guys. So I think she's been doing a little of the booger sugar, maybe. I think she's been doing some lines in the bathroom because she's corked up. And, you know, Angie she loves the nightlife. She's like a cat. She loves the nightlife. So we'll see where it goes with Angie here today, but I can tell you she's talkative. We just did a giveaway video for the Patreon exclusive, and shout out to the Patreon members watching early, of course. But Angie's on one tonight, so we'll see where this episode goes. Could go off the rails. You never know.
I'm just going to have a manic like crash after this.
Who knows where she could be? She could end up with...
You better put a taco in me.
Well, let's see. Let's see that taco, I guess. Angie's been promised a taco dinner, and it's the simple things in life here. And Angie even is going to attempt to mow the yard apparently around here, which I don't think you've ever mowed the yard at this house.
Are you kidding me?
When have you mowed the yard?
I've never used the electric one. Since we got that, I don't know how to work it.
I don't remember using ever mowing here at this house.
I've mowed a lot.
A lot? How many is a lot?
Well, maybe like 5.
Not even that. There's no way. I don't think you've ever done it. There's no way you could start it with the pole.
It's your one job.
My one job. Thanks for
No, I
really
mean, like,
demoralizing me.
Like the house job.
Oh, really? Not the dog poop, not the garbage,
You make
not
that
taking
money,
care of the
honey.
dogs.
You make
Come
that
on.
money, honey.
She just swept me under the rug and demasculated me on my own
It's like,
podcast.
I'm all so greasy.
On my own podcast here, Angie. So kudos to you.
Couldn't do it
Kudos
without
to
you. We couldn't do it
please.
without you.
Please.
You know that.
But I am traveling for work, so I'm going to be gone for 3 days. I got a 5-hour presentation to put together and then a 3-hour presentation that just got put on me out of nowhere. So I got to figure out that too. So I got studying to do. I got reviews to do. I got a lot of work to do. So what am I doing jibber jabbing here? Let's just make this podcast 10 minutes this round. That's what we need to do. We just need to cut it back. So
Love it.
We'll see what's getting to. But we got a little bit of housekeeping going on, Angie. And before we get into the housekeeping, we got to thank our friends over there at DJC Collectibles for sponsoring the Kyle Peterson Show. Use code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. Got to get a deal out there. And I mentioned Patreon, Angie. Patreon, the best way to support this channel, this podcast, this household, whatever it may be. I don't know what it is. But either way, Patreon is the place to be. And we got a new giveaway for the month of May. This month, Rocksteady Bebop, or Bebop Rocksteady, more like it. McFarlane Toys, the heavy page puncher versions. This is the giveaway in May, so appreciate all the support over there. Check out the giveaway.
Do you get the bird?
The bird? What are you talking about?
On the back, there was a bird.
I don't know. No, he came with one of the turtles, the bird did.
That's
And I
right,
already
man.
gave away the turtles in a separate video, so
That's
a couple
right.
months ago. So you should watch the review every once in a while, and you can see that kind of stuff. You know what's going on.
I'd be on there hyping.
Yeah, you do. I think you haven't been hyping or liking.
I
There's
just
no
hyped
way.
the same video 3 times. If you didn't know you
Oh,
could do that.
the
It's like,
same.
hype.
There's a lot of content here you could be hyping.
And
Angie.
it gives me the little red bar.
You said you're done.
Cut off.
You're on hypes. But you know what you should do is thumbs up the video. And I've noticed you never thumbs up my social media post. Any post I do on social media anywhere, I never get great job or a little heart or any of that.
Yeah, but then a lot of friends find me.
She likes to be, no, you just don't want, you've said you don't want the algorithm. You don't want to be shown action figure stuff if
I
you're
don't really
liking
so
it.
much care about that. It kind of already is because I check you all the time, so I see all the other people's
No.
toy
Who knows?
business.
Who knows? But
All the
Angie,
biz.
there is the housekeeping. You got anything to add to the upfronts here before we get into it?
Just took Elle to get contacts. She's a new
Ooh.
contact wearer.
Contacts, and
It was
she's
rough. She couldn't get them suckers. She has very fluttery, scary eyes.
Well, I remember I had that problem too, and I got contacts when I was in 6th grade, I believe was when no, not 6th grade. I got glasses in 6th grade. My parents didn't get me contacts till I was like a senior in high school. They said I wasn't, they just wouldn't do it. They said I wasn't mature enough, whatever it may be. And I remember back then they didn't have the dailies like I wear now, and you had to clean them every day. You get the solution, you'd rub them, and then you'd rinse them, then you put in the thing. It was a whole rigmarole. I don't miss that.
Girls just have better hygiene too. So, you know, she's washing your hands good.
Whatever. But
taking care of them.
But poor Elle, she's got the curse of my eyes. I'm like negative 650 in my eyes. Is that what it is? So I'm blind. I'm so blind. I take my contacts out. I don't know. I might as well be a blind person. But Elle, unfortunately, negative 4.5 right now. So that's some hard times. She's walking the path to blindness is what she's doing. So
those blue eyes, they always look good. They don't work.
I don't know. Does anybody have worse eyes than negative 6.50? Somebody shout it out. I'm sure somebody does.
Also, if you have blue eyes and you have good perfect vision, because I've like never meet anyone with blue eyes with perfect vision.
I don't know.
Something with the lack of pigment.
I don't know. It's hard times. It's hard times. I'm
20/20, baby.
Angie's 20/20 vision. Can you believe that?
I used to be better. I used to have like 20/15 or something, like pilot vision or something weird.
Now
I'm just normal.
Who knows what you are? You're far from normal. We know that.
That's true.
Far from normal at this point here. And I did get a haircut, Angie. Did you notice?
I was there.
You were there. She was there. She made the appointment. It was nice of her. And
it actually looks short now that I'm seeing it, but she only took like an inch off.
Looks awfully short.
But it got cleaned up around the
face a little. Yeah. Had to look presentable, Had to look presentable. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's where we're at. But Angie, before we get into a deeper dive, and let me tell you, it's a deeper dive this week. We're talking little action figures again. But Angie, watch out. Watch out.
Speaking of deeper dive.
Angie could only make through bits and pieces of this, but last week we mentioned it on the podcast, but I did finish the Hulk Hogan documentary on Netflix, so hopefully you check that out.
You finished it without me?
Oh, you jumped in for like 5 minutes. Literally.
I feel like I watched the first 2 episodes.
No, you didn't. You didn't watch the first episode at all.
I watched all the way up to the divorce.
Angie's very confused as usual here. There was 4 episodes.
15 years ago.
It was like 6 hours. So you watched about 20 minutes total, I think. About that 6 hours.
I saw when he cheated with the young girl or whatever. Wasn't she young?
No idea what you're talking about. Cheating?
He cheated on Linda, which initiated the divorce with some friend or something.
That's about where you were in. You missed the totally first episode. I think you caught a little bit of the second one, maybe most of the third, but you didn't watch any of the fourth one when he died and his farewell tour. You missed all that kind of stuff. So anyways.
Like I said, rude.
Okay, we'll watch it again. I'm gonna prove a point with you, and I'm gonna make you watch all 4 episodes again. I'll watch it. I got nothing but time to prove a point. You don't want to watch it, so prove a point will make you watch all 4 episodes. So
see what you get. I love it when you're stressed.
I am stressed and grouchy. It's really going south. My back hurts. I'm tired. I'm overworked.
My butt hurts.
You're not supposed to. What's the saying? How's that go? You're not supposed to make my life hard. You're supposed to make my how's that go? Something like that. I don't know. Anyways, somebody fill in the blanks. Angie, fill it in later. But watched the Hulk Hogan documentary. Pretty good for what it is. Obviously, one side of the story. We didn't get a lot of the stuff with his son, Nick, later on. I thought that was interesting. But if the Hulk Hogan WWE team's putting it together, they're going to leave out the car accident and all that kind of stuff. And Nick's arrest, they're going to leave that out of it, which is a big part of Hulk Hogan's later life. He was on TMZ and all that kind of stuff all the time about that.
He was like the bounty hunter at the end there.
Kind of. And they left out, I think they left out his second wife. I can't remember the whole pizzazz around his second wife after Linda. And then, was it Jennifer, her name? I don't know. Her last wife was named Sky.
Oh, God. I didn't know he got married. I didn't even know he got
married. He'd been married 3 times. So a lot of it was kind of a little give and take there. They didn't tell the whole story. And obviously it was going to be per the side of Hulk Hogan to make him look good, which we all know Hulk Hogan. Not the greatest human, as we know. I met him one time. We all remember that story. I've told it multiple times on my YouTube channel and the podcast here. I hated how they buried the Ultimate Warrior. Like, why are they talking ill of Ultimate Warrior still to this day? Why do they always bring him up? It drives me absolutely crazy, saying, oh, he's terrible, all this. The fact is, he killed Hulkamania, and Hulkamania was never the same after he lost to the Ultimate Warrior. And the Ultimate Warrior is still my favorite of all time. They can talk bad about him all the time. It's always just you hear one side of the story, and that side speaks louder. Warrior hasn't been here for 10, 15 years to even talk about
Preach,
it. So
babe, preach.
Gets me all worked up. So I hated that. And I don't think that added anything to the story. So you can bash the Warrior, but you can't talk about some of these other bad things that went on. They really didn't go too deep into his usage of the N-word, that whole kind of thing. I mean, they talked about it a little bit.
Oh, he really was the bounty hunter.
Yeah. You
I didn't know that either.
See, you missed a lot of that. And the Hulkster, all that kind of stuff. And obviously absent with his daughter, Brooke. She wasn't in any of this. They were kind of estranged.
It's weird she's been on social media being like, it's so weird they left me out of it and stuff. But it's like, didn't she like write herself out of the will and all that? So it's like,
and I don't think she filmed for it, but they didn't really talk much about her. I mean, they showed her as a little kid stuff and mentioned her a few times, but they didn't really go in deep on her stuff, which at the end of the day, it's not her documentary.
Well, if she doesn't want to be connected to him, then why would she want to be connected to the documentary? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
So that was strange. Now, his first wife, Linda, was all over this thing, which was also a little bit strange. And it was kind of sad at the end. Like, you could tell she really did love the Terry the Hulk, of course. Yeah. And I think if she had to do her life over again, they probably would have stayed together and all that kind of stuff. And Hulk maybe would have been the same way. Who knows? You can't rewrite the past. You never know what might happen there. She went a little crazy dating a guy half her age. I mean, that sounds like something you'd do.
Ew, I would not.
Angie likes those young ones. She likes them just
gross.
A couple days over 18 is her prime.
I'd go older.
She goes older. She likes those 70-year-old guys. Maybe 70-year-olds out there
deathbed
with lots of money. That's what she wants it on the way out. That's right. But
oh yeah, I saw that scene when she was like driving her boat past his house with the new guy.
Oh like, my gosh,
how cringy! I had so much secondhand embarrassment from a lot of her interviews. She was so cringy, and
she was.
I hate to be mean, but she doesn't sound very smart.
No, she was a piece of work back in the day, though. She looked pretty good back in the day, but unfortunately, time waits for no one.
She kept looking good for a long time.
Yeah, and time, Father Time is undefeated, as we see with Angie each week, getting older each week.
Yeah.
Each week. Father Time undefeated, but who knows? But Linda, she still looked okay for being almost 70, I thought. I mean, especially with all that skin damage down her and Hulk. How many tanning bed hours do you think they've logged in their life?
I feel like all people from Florida, is that where they're from? Look like that because it's just the sun. There's so much sun exposure.
She's on her way to being tan mom is what she is. Almost.
like me.
Like you, like Angie, but yeah, it was weird. They had a lot of Jimmy Hart there. It was cool. I mean, they found out something like Jimmy Hart was getting paid like $500 or $800 a day to be Hulk Hogan's like personal assistant buddy. That's a pretty good gig if you can get that, just to travel with him and help him and do stuff.
I was pretty surprised, like how nice his like house was and stuff. Like,
yeah, Hulkster. And it was sad. They showed him. We're kind of all over the place talking about this documentary here, but they showed him on his beer tour a little bit, and that's where I met the Hulkster, which I was very happy I did. But I had some fun with it. But Hulkster, not my favorite, but there's no denying a major part of wrestling history. And I rooted against him in the 80s. Most people didn't, but it was nice to see that. No different than maybe you rooted against the Iron Sheik and you met him later on. It's kind of that same kind of thing. But I remember seeing the Hulkster when nobody else, he didn't think the crowd saw him because he was kind of off to the side and I was over there. And, he couldn't walk at all. And he was holding his arms of the people behind him to walk.
It's literally going to be you.
But the minute he got out, he's like, hey, everybody. It's like the pain goes away. You tune it on.
It's like every time you get on camera.
It's like every time I go on camera.
He's crying before.
It's actually, I'm down here with my head down. I'm like, oh.
You're like, Ange, help me up.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I have one of my falls that I'm having now. And I did tell you.
Spells.
I had the worst back pain for like 2 minutes today, and it was a pain I haven't felt ever. And I was just like,
get numbness?
It was just a weird pain throughout my body, and I couldn't move. And I'm like, if I move, it was just weird. And I was like, I haven't had this amount of pain yet, and I need to go to the doctor. I said, next week, Angie, let's just go to the doctor, get this over with. Let's get this over with.
You're just so decompressed, like Hulk.
I'm worse.
Too many leg drops.
It is too many leg drops.
Too many leg drops.
I just destroyed my body between many different things of working out in the field, not putting cardboard down, not protecting my knees and back, and lifting heavy in the weight room, lifting heavy at work back when I was throwing product and stuff. And just years of abuse is what's happened. It's all caught up with me. I've been abusing you. And I feel like I'm going to be in a wheelchair before you know it. It's just terrible. It's terrible. And I was telling you the other night, we were going to some restaurant and I'm walking out. I'm like, do I look strange? Do I look like that guy that's in a bunch of pain as I walk? And you're like, no, you look fine. And then you go, no, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I'm like hunched over. I'm just falling apart. And it's like, crazy. I don't know.
You're going to be shorter than me soon if you I couldn't believe how short the Hulk was in person next to you.
Yes, I know. And I'm on that.
It's maybe 6'2".
So I think I either have like some dislodged dicks, some dislodged dicks in my back. Is what I think I have.
Thank God you dislodged them.
They're
You got
dislodged.
dicks on the brain.
I do. Let me tell you.
Is this a
Well, that's
PG-13 or what?
right. Dick's
Got
Sporting.
some dicks, Lord.
Dick's Sporting Goods. You know how it goes.
I love
but
getting dicks lodged.
I know you do. I know. One last way before I leave town, but
What were you trying to say instead of that?
discs.
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 Oh my God. That's like if you were a teacher, you could just like never live this down. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to switch schools.
Difference is I don't care. I don't care. But I got discs out in my back, and
I'm
I got
so greasy. I'm sliding up the I got some dicks lodged right now.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's like they're separated or something. I don't know. Or I have like back cancer. Like my buddy Mike was telling me today, his buddy had like stage 4 cancer and it started in his back, in his spine.
Imagine?
And he didn't go to the doctor forever. He's like, Kyle, this is the same thing you have. It's the same thing. And I'm like, oh, great. So
Oh my God.
who knows? Maybe I'll go to the doctor next week. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. But I'm not looking forward to like a 6-hour drive and 6-hour home over a
Ew.
couple of days. It's going to be rough on me. But
I did get you some gas.
well, that's nice of you. That's nice. So we'll see how all that goes. But the Hulkster, I felt bad, but he just turned that on. The minute he hit people and saw the people, he just turned it on. It was wild. He had that big walking stick, like a young Gandalf. I don't think you saw that, but he had this big walking stick he would use. And it was interesting seeing him working out, still hanging and banging, clanging and banging, and lifting the barbell plates.
I like when he missed it himself. He's like, I gotta look like I'm sweating.
Oh yeah, he missed himself. That was kind of funny. But they started the early days of Hulkamania, and if you were a guy that doesn't follow wrestling, you're just watching it, it was a very good story. But if you're deep in the weeds like you and me, maybe watching this, and not Angie necessarily, but you know the history of Hulkamania, there wasn't a lot of new stuff there for anything. But it was the Hulkster trying to tell his story. And I hear a lot of people saying, well, that was just Terry. It wasn't the Hulkster, which to me, I think they're one and the same, really. I mean, you live that Hulk Hogan life for so long, you've become Hulk Hogan, and Terry is totally forgotten about. Because let's be honest, he's probably been called Hulk more than Terry in his entire life. Mm-hmm. At that point, you're Hulk. I mean, that's what you are. Like, I'm called Bread Jesus all the time. And I forget my name's Kyle half the time because, Bread Jesus. Maybe not. But, they did talk about with some of the wrestlers in there from his past and stuff. And all in all, it was definitely worth a watch. I don't know if I would ever watch it again unless I'm forcing her to prove a point. But it was cool. They did do a Vince McMahon one, which is very similar. It'll be interesting to see if they do any more of these. I know there was just a recent Shawn Michaels one on Peacock that I watched. That was okay. It didn't, didn't get the discs hard on me. I said discs. It didn't get my discs hard. But, yeah, it was interesting. It was sad, though. It's sad when anybody dies early like that in the Hulkster. I don't know. He was talking about all this fentanyl he was taking, too, like patches and pills and lollipops. I don't know if he was hanging and
like
clanging.
Like payment?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, I don't know. So, it was a tough road for the Hulkster on the way out. And then it was really sad, too. They did show his final appearance in L.A. for Monday Night Raw where he got booed out of the building. And I was the one that coined that joke. It was like, man, those people in L.A. really hate Jimmy Hart. They haven't forgotten Jimmy Hart. But the Hulkster, was talking about how it did kind of hurt his feelings to get booed like that. But I guess you can expect things like that with him, part of Donald Trump's entourage around that time and going into L.A., the heart of Democrat world. Well, that's what you're going to get. I mean, if you would have went to, I don't know, Ohio or something, or wherever the Republicans love, Alabama, I don't know where they love to live. Wherever they love to live, you go there, it's going to be a totally different story, I'm sure. But it is what it is. You can't please everybody. That's the way it goes. But like I said, it was worth the watch. I would check it out if that is your thing. And even if you're not into wrestling, you glance, at a little wrestling, it's worth watching. Mm-hmm. So there you go, Angie. That's a little bit of that. But yeah, it was interesting. I can't wait for my documentary one of these days. Mm-hmm. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see what Angie talks about when I die.
Where's my fentanyl patch?
Yep, where's my fentanyl? I need it. I've never had it. And that's part of my thing is I don't take pain medicine very often, even aspirin and stuff. I just tough through. I don't like to do it. So when I take it, it really works for me because I don't have a tolerance. So when they give me back pain medicine, it'll be great, I'm sure. So we'll see. But there it is, Angie. I've jibber-jabbered enough here. Almost 20 minutes to open this thing. You got anything else you want to talk about? Anything you need to get off your chest? Mm-mm. You got a new dress on today, huh?
Yep.
Good for you. Good for
like
you.
I always have to wear something new. It's really eating into the budget.
Yeah, this $14 a month we make on this podcast, Angie. It's how much did that dress cost? I think it might have ate all the profits.
40.
Might have ate all the profits on this.
And then
14.
the food, we don't make any money off this.
Yeah, it's a loss leader at this point. It's a loss leader. Wouldn't it be great to break even, though? If we could just break even, we get $40 a month. Can you imagine? We'd be living high on the hog with that $40.
Oh, God.
Pay for Angie's dress. Maybe you could autograph and sell this dress. Will anybody pay $50? We'll ship it, too. $50 for this dress. Angie
Maybe it
will
could be a
autograph it.
tax write-off.
Could be. Could be if you save your receipts. That's the key. That's the key. So, anyways, I keep trying to end this segment. It's not going very well. So, we're moving on here. Now it's time to go over to a deeper dive brought to you by Decade Eyewear. Use the QR code. Save yourself 10%.
I thought you were going to say dicks again.
All right, Angie, it's time to go a little bit deeper. It's time for a deeper dive, and we're continuing on. Last week, we talked about figure swaps at the stores and about people switching, figures and the whole Lego pasta bandit out there. So check out that last week. But Angie, we're sticking with action figures a little bit this week as well. We're putting the business hat on once again. And Angie, can't wait to hear your thoughts on this as well. But we're going to talk about Ross. You know about Ross?
Yeah.
What's the full name? Ross?
Dress for less?
Dress for less. Very good. Now, you go to Ross every once in a while. And what happens every time I go into a Ross store?
An alarm goes off?
An alarm goes off.
Is that really what you're going to say?
Yes. If you had watched my action figure hunting videos, I always say, here we are at Ross again, and here we are with an alarm going off.
I'm always scared to pick anything up.
I hate that place. I hate going to Ross because 99.9% of the time, it's pure disappointment in the toy aisle. And then you go in there and it's always alarms going off all over the place. So it's beep, 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 beep. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's like, this kills me. But there's so much shoplifting at Ross. And there's so many people that are just like terrible human beings. You can I go to Ross and I scan the scene in the city tonight, like a young Metallica. And I scan the place and I'm like, this person's an awful human being. This person's like, usually there's like, hey, these are people trying to get deals, stuff like that. It's just full of this, maybe just my area, maybe yours too. It's just awful human beings. I look at this lady, I'm like, she's beating her kids. She's beating her kids. This guy over here, he's beating his wife.
It's just about being poor. They're desperate.
I don't know if they're poor or desperate. I think it just brings the dredges of society there to Ross, Burlington, TJ Maxx, that kind of stuff. And that's why Angie likes to hang out. She says, my people, my people.
I like the asset protection, like rent-a-cop that's at the door.
And he's always got like a bulletproof vest on. He knows it's going to be going down here at Burlington, TJ Maxx, or Ross. It's just wild. But the alarms are always going off. And I think some of the Rosses now, we're going to get to this here, but some of these Rosses now have like the alarms on the shoes. So if you try to try your shoes on, it goes off on the shoes. It's ridiculous. But I never find anything at Ross. And there was a toy hunt a couple of months ago where I found a couple of things. And then, there's that little corral, the cart corral they get you into to check out. And I'm sitting there and I found a sweet pair of blue shoes for $25, which was an amazing find. So that's my greatest Ross find ever. I love the blue and yellow Nikes. I forget what they're called, like Cortezes or something like that. My dad had them in like the 70s and I used to wear his old pair. And now I got a new pair. So I was pretty happy for $25. But the alarms are always going off. There's nothing going on there. But I do see, Angie, you don't know anything about this, but apparently in some parts of the country, luckily not my part, at least never I've seen it, but like Ross will open at 10 a.m. and it's like the old school Toys R Us days where there's a line of people to get in the Rosses in the morning. Have you seen this?
No.
But there's this going on because there's so many people now, and I keep saying we need to do this. I should quit my job, and this is what I should do, is go to these places every day and become a reseller. And you get the Amazon app. You can choose what you want to do. It's pretty turnkey. You go in there, and you just kind of know what you're looking for, and you scan it, and you buy it, you resell it, do all that kind of thing. You figure hunt, you make more videos, you do that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's what my job needs to be, but I can't pull the trigger. I just can't give up what I've built over, multi-decade career at this point. And I don't know. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But there's all these people there in Ross. There's more and more people buying at Ross. And then if you go to these toy shows now, like there's that show at the mall I go to every once in a while. It's a little bit defeating because you see all this stuff people are grabbing from Ross on deal. So, a Marvel Legend, it was $25 at Target and Walmart. Now, a year and a half later, here it is at Ross for $7.99, $8.99, whatever it is. So, heck of a deal. And one thing I will say, I'll tell everybody right here, this grinds my gears, Angie, because a lot of times I do a review and I buy something brand new. I get it from, Jay's Toys and Games. I get it from DJC. I get it from Target, Walmart, wherever. I pay full retail on this thing. I review it. I do the thing. And then I'll get an alert to a comment from a video from like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And somebody will say, I just got this at Ross for $8. Long game paid off. And I'm like, that's where I want to say, and I don't say it, but the long game paid off. You wanted this figure so bad you were willing to wait 2 years for it. And how did you know it was going to go to Ross? Not everything goes to Ross. Not everything goes TJ Maxx. So just be honest, you didn't really want the figure enough to buy full price. You didn't want it bad enough to find it on discount for the last 2 years. You just happened to go to Ross. You saw it for $8.99. You want to rub it in my face that I paid $25 for it. You paid $8 for it. But nobody long games something for 2 years, something like that. It just doesn't happen. It's not a true long game thing, but people love to do that. I get that comment all the time. Just got this at Ross, $7.99 today. Okay, you waited 2 years. I mean, is that worth it? I don't know if that was worth it, but anyways, there's a lot of that shenanigans going on at Ross these days. There's a lot of shoplifting at Ross. I mean, I can only imagine with the asset protection guy, the stories they have. I got from my time working at a grocery store, I got some crazy stories. We'll talk about one later here today. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about a shoplifter and it kind of tie in with this Ross. Shoplifters unite is what's going to go on. But Ross is a wild place. You got these people there trying to resell, doing this. You go to the toy shows. There's all this stuff from Ross. It's just depressing. And people searching for all this stuff at Ross just drives me crazy. And you hear, oh, it's RossCon. It's RossCon. I don't know. Maybe I'm bitter because I pay this stuff full price. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But it's not worth it to me to wait. And honestly, my Rosses all suck. We have 3 of them. They're all terrible. They're all terrible. Now, I'm going to flip it over to you, Angie. Obviously, you're not looking for action figures, but you go to Ross with me and we'll go. Do you ever find anything?
Every once in a while, I find a good shoe.
If you had to choose between Ross, TJ Maxx, and Burlington, which one's your favorite? And put them in order.
TJ Maxx. Ooh. Ross and Burlington are basically the same thing to me.
I go Ross
I'm like
number
TJ
1.
Maxx Marshalls are my jam.
So I go Ross, Burlington, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. That's how I do. They're last. Marshalls never has figures of any kind. And we have one that has a Ross and a Marshalls next door to each other. It's kind of nice. And then Burlington's across the street. So you can work the triangle of terror if you want to. The Bermuda Triangle of thrift stores or whatever they're called. Dressing for less. I don't know. Anyways, we set it up. We set it up here. I never find any clothes there. And it's weird. The clothes there at Ross all the time, it's like always the weirdest stuff. Like, where do they get some of this stuff from? And I like a gaudy shirt. So every once in a while, I'll see a crazy Hawaiian shirt or something like there. I like that kind of stuff.
I just can't do the 100% polyester. Like, the material's so bad.
And, every once in a while, like, I'll see the dog stuff. Like, oh, dog bones, dog treats. But they're not even that much cheaper, I've noticed, either. So anyways, long story short here, there was a news article this week on a lot of different places. I don't know if you saw this or not. Bring it to your attention. Ross store CEO eyes a change that could drive away shoppers. Now, what do you think that means? So, as we know, everything is more expensive, Angie.
Okay.
Groceries are more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Clothes are more expensive. Angie's trying to read the notes, trying to figure out what we're talking about here, but we'll get there and we'll get your commentary, Angie. But everything is going up in price. So you go to Target, obviously that Marvel Legends figure used to be $19.99. I mean, it was cheaper than that one time, but it was $19.99 to $21.99, $22. Now we're up to like $27.99 on these. Well, you go to Ross, get it for $7.99. Angie, was that a yawn?
Yeah.
I thought that was like an I thought that was an
I was so shocked.
That's what I thought. Oh my gosh. They've been going up. Oh.
I told you I was going to crash. I was too manic earlier.
Oh my God. Here we go. Here we go. But price increases going up at Target. Ross has not went up in price. So the CEO of Ross has said, hey, wait a minute. Things are going up. We need to start raising ours. And honestly, I've already seen some of this at Ross already. Some of the prices creeping up a lot higher than I would imagine. And I think the CEO of Ross in this example, he's trying to do that math and trying to find that threshold. And that's always the key. In grocery, whenever prices go up, there's a reason, but you got to find that threshold. You guys probably know this. Angie, you know this as well. What would you rather pay? Obviously, we know, but like $3.99, okay. $4.05. Oh my God, that's so expensive. It's only 5 cents different or 6 cents difference.
Yeah.
But there's the threshold. $3.99, you go to $4. It feels like that might as well be $4.99 if it's at $4. And a lot of companies say, well, if we can go to $4.05, might as well go to $4.99. Finding that threshold is tough. And it sounds like that's where Ross is right now. As Target, Walmart, everybody else is more expensive. They know there's more money they can get. They're seeing the people buying and secondhand selling. That's rising. They're going to start raising their prices. So I would say by the time Christmas season rolls around with the action figures really hitting hot and heavy, we're going to see a price increase at Ross. And we shouldn't be shocked. Everywhere else is getting price increases. They're going to do the same thing. So the days of got to get a deal are getting harder and harder and harder to find, Angie. It's like the discs in my back. It's just harder and harder all the time. Harder and harder all the time.
Oh my God.
But
they got to spend money to make money, though.
They
They got
do.
to have quality control in the stores and clean them up. They're so gross, so messy. So
yes.
Nothing
Now-
is organized by size or it's nuts.
Now, out of Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, which is the one that's always the biggest disaster from your experience? I know what number one disaster is out of
Probably
those stores.
Ross.
Really?
Ross and then Burlington.
I say Burlington an easy number one. It feels like everything is disheveled. You go there in their toy section, it is just like, I feel like a Scrooge
Yeah.
McDuck trying to swim and stuff. It's just an absolute disaster all the time. But I tell you what, they're busier than they've ever been. So that tells you that, people's dollars aren't going as far as they once were, and more people are looking that.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, though, there are deals there. And even before, when prices were good, everybody was loving life, there were still people going to these places because there were deals to be had. And like my shoe experience, $25, normally a $100 pair of shoes for $25. Hey, sign me up all day
I'm not
long.
convinced these are even real. The shoes.
And I've heard that too with Ross. There's some phony stuff every once in a while, but
Yeah.
my shoes are real. I can tell they're real Nikes. They fit like Nikes. They got the label. You think somebody would make a fake label? Come on. No, maybe not, but I don't know. I try to stay out of those stores as much as I can. However, there are some next to Targets and stuff, and I will pop in. I'll say, well, people are finding stuff. It's right next door. I might as well pop in. I'm here. And then occasionally we'll go there. There's one by a Target in our mall, so we'll go to that one every once in a while. But man, oh man, hard times there. And I'm going to finish this where I started it. Just the dredges of society at all time in these stores. But Angie, in a plot twist, you got to look yourself in the mirror because Kyle and Angie, guess what? You're in these stores too. So you're one of them. These are your people. If you're shopping there, Kyle and Angie, you're just like them. They can look back at us and say, God, look at this long-haired guy. Who does he think he is? Jesus? How dare he?
They're like, look at these fancy folk.
Oh, look at these fancy folk. Look at this guy in his blue shoes or red shoes. You know what he's up to. I wear my red shoes at Ross.
These guys look like they pay their rent.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're just part of the problem there. And I guess, what is it? He cast the first stone, or I don't know how that saying goes, but I'm throwing these people under the bus, but they're stealing. They're thieving. They're thieving. I'm not going down at Ross. If I'm going to steal something, it's going to be a Lamborghini or something. And that's what I'm stealing. I'm going big or going home.
Can you imagine?
Can you
Getting
imagine?
arrested at Ross.
What was Kyle doing? Well, there was a Super 7 Notorious B.I.G. figure that was normally $55 down to $15. And I just didn't have the money. So I'm just going to sneak old Biggie out and see if anybody can know. I don't know.
Put Biggie in your pants.
Oh, I already got him in there. So that's what they say a lot of times too. I leave these places and say, sir, you're
Oh, my
apparently
God.
smuggling something in your pants. And I'm like, no,
They're like,
frisk me. And it's
my
always
goodness.
interesting when you get that guy. He's that big Mexican guy. He's bald headed. He's got the goatee at that Burlington. And when he's frisking you, it's awfully handsy. He's
Feels
awfully
good. Feels
handsy.
good.
Does it? I don't know, but yeah. But
You're like, I like it.
But yeah, it's tough time at Ross. I would say get while you can at Ross, which I don't know if you're going to get too much, but prices are going up and it sounds like the writing's on the wall. And guess what? Ross is going to do it first. Burlington, TJ Maxx, they will jump after. And I know Ross owns some. Was it TJ Maxx and Marshalls that are combined? I forget who owns what, but some
TJ
of
Maxx,
them.
Marshalls, Home Goods is all one company.
And then I know Ross and like DD's Discount, which I believe is down in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I was there one time on a work trip. Those are owned by the same one, but they always wait. And let's say Burlington and Ross aren't owned by the same people. It's no different than, Kraft or Nabisco and Keebler once upon a time. Who's going to take the price increase first? Okay, we'll let Oreos do it, and then we'll come behind them. We saw it in perfect example. Todd McFarlane from the couch. During the height of price increase times, he didn't take increases. He let everybody else take increases, laid in the weeds for about a year. And then I said it repeatedly, guys, business hat, he will go up. This is a standard move. There's always one company that lays back, sees if they can jump in a little bit more, but they will go up. Todd went up and he's way up there right now as he's losing the DC license. So a little business hat, a little Ross talk, a little adventure talk here today, Angie. But let's end it here. Let's end it here with a deeper dive. Let's move on to Angie's favorite. It's brought to you by Deutsch Snacking Dough. Use the link in the description down below. Save yourself 10%. It's time to try new foods because they might taste good.
Try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food cause they might taste good.
Alrighty, Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. Brought to you by Deutsch Snacking Dough. Check it out. Link in the description down below. We tried it a few episodes back, about 2 months ago or so, and we need to get a reorder in too. So we'll see where that goes. But Angie's got something hot off the truck here today. You brought these from the grocery store today. What do you got for us, Angie?
We got Doritos with protein. So this one's the nacho cheese.
All right. We tried the naked ones the last time on the channel.
And this one is sweet and tangy barbecue.
Very interesting. 150 calories, 10 chips, 10 grams of protein. So
a gram of chip.
now I can tell you first off, all these companies, major ones, protein is the buzzword of the year. Everybody's putting protein in everything. There's protein bagels out there, extra protein yogurt, extra protein Doritos at this point. So going to be very interesting. These are brand new, Angie. Have you heard anybody that's tried them yet? Me neither. I didn't even know these existed until Angie brought them our way. So we're going to try the nacho ones first, though. We're going to go with the Old Glory first. They don't necessarily smell like Doritos.
What do they smell like?
I don't know. There you go. They look like a Dorito. They, you could think these are like a store brand Dorito or something just on the eye test here, but they are square. They do.
They have a very distinct smell.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what it is? It's a Pringle.
Oh, it does.
Which Pringle is that? The cheese Pringle is exactly what it smells like.
It does have a little of that Pringle fresh from the can taste. Speaking of Pringles, thick like a Pringle can. That's what everybody always tells me. Yeah. I don't know. Try it.
I just got what you said. I was trying to see if I can fit the whole thing in.
I easily stuck the whole thing in my mouth. I don't know how you couldn't.
I was trying to go thick side.
It's interesting. None of these chips are broken. Usually you get a bag of chips, there's broken chips.
I mean, blind test, I would never know this was a Dorito. Would I?
I tell you what. One issue I've had with Doritos over the last few years is they don't dust the chips evenly anymore. And you love the one with a lot of dusting. These have a lot of dusting on them.
Yeah, the coating really sticks to them good.
There's a lot of good coating on this, and it does have that flavor. You're right. I don't know if I would say that. It almost reminds me of like a Tostito, kind of that aftertaste, that
different.
corn.
It's not as airy. It's more dense.
But you know what? It's not terrible. I didn't like the naked ones very much. These are okay. And these are one of those things, it's much like people that have to eat like gluten-free and start eating cauliflower pizza and stuff like that. If you stop eating normal pizza and you just stick with your cauliflower pizza, after a while the taste grows on you. And I think if you just ate these by themselves, I think you would forget how old Doritos taste, if that makes sense. And you would get very accustomed to this. And as far as a healthy option, I don't think these are terrible. Angie, you gonna eat all these or what? We got another bag to eat. They are just like normal chips. About half the bag is air, so you do pay for a lot of air here.
And these were $4.99 a piece, which isn't bad. It's a decent price point for being a protein item.
I tell you what.
Like those really small bags of, what were those? Wild
They're
protein
made-
chips we got? Those were like $9.99 for that small bag.
They're made with milk protein. 0 sugars, 1 gram of fiber. I tell you what, I don't hate them. I could eat them. They're not as good as regular Doritos, but they're a lot healthier. And if you
I
just
prefer
ate
it. This
these,
I'm going to be dipping these in cottage cheese.
oh, Angie loves the cottage cheese.
Oh, yeah. Do we rate that one first or at the end? I always forget what we do.
Yeah, we'll do them both at the end.
Ooh.
This is barbecue. It's interesting they made a new flavor.
It almost smells like you smelled a chicken wing.
And there is very few in there. It's not even half the bag.
It's up to here.
Look at that. Yeah, fold it where it's at. Other way. There you go. Jeez. There's not a lot in
It's
there.
exactly half, basically.
Not a lot in
But
there.
it probably needs a lot of air so they don't break.
150, 10, same
This one got a
macros,
hole in it.
same nutrients here. What'd you say it smelled like?
Like it smells like a chicken wing.
I don't know.
It's got they both have like a chicken smell to them.
It's a tangy barbecue.
It is sweet and tangy. It says.
Kind of reminds me of KC Masterpiece. A little bit of spice. It's not a terrible barbecue
Do these
flavor.
ones seem thinner, crunchier?
They seem, I don't know.
I don't like these ones as well. I don't like.
I'll tell you what, they're all right. I wouldn't throw these out. I wouldn't give these to the rats. I would eat these. I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised on these. A lot of times it's just they don't work out. These taste pretty good for what they are. They're not as good as the original versions, but still pretty good. I think I prefer the original just by a
For some
hair.
reason, these are a little less dry. Like these.
Those got that wet barbecue sauce from the swamp.
Clearly, I'm hungry.
I guess so. Well, slow down there, but let's rate these ones before you eat the whole bag.
Huh?
All right, if you had to rate this one first, this one second, out of 5 on both of them, what are you going to go for?
4, 3.
I think I'm sitting there too. 4. I'm going to go 4 and 3.5. Now that's pretty good score, and I would say you'd almost say 5 out of 5 as far as protein, health, trying to.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 4 and a 3.5 just on a normal thing, but as far as dietary wise or whatever, these are a great substitute if that's what you want to do. And I don't know if Doritos are really that healthy across the board, anyways, but pretty darn good. These are worth a try, I would say. And you said you just saw these today for the first time, I think, right?
And little burger bowls are very popular. People do like the hamburger meat and they can mix this in, make a little taco bowl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like a taco salad thing, yeah. Not a bad deal. That'd be good. You make the taco and you mix these in, use these instead. Not a bad piece of business. Doritos Protein. They should sponsor this channel after this here. Not a bad piece of business, but Angie, that's good. So we'll see what we got next week. Maybe Dubai chocolate, maybe something else. We'll see where it goes next week on the show. But Angie, it's time for a little Tales from Retail. All right, Angie, it's time for story time with Kyle. And Angie, we're taking it way back to my time as a kid working in a grocery store. We're talking the late 90s, once upon a time, working in a grocery store, slaving to the grind like a young Sebastian Bach. I started out working in the bottle and cans, having to deal with that whole mess, the can redemption and stuff. That was fun. Sacking groceries, going out on drive up, loading people's car. Eventually, you got that dollar raise. You became a checker. I was Mr. Express. That's where I wanted to be. Put me on the Express. I like the fast in and out, Angie. You know me. Still to this day. Fast in and out.
Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about your needs. I just got to finish my stuff.
I take care of myself first. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. So I just have to do that. So I had to be on that. And then the goal was to immediately go into the other departments and stuff. I dabbled in a little shift manager where you'd manage the checkers and manage everybody. So we did some of that kind of stuff. But Angie, I had quite the career once upon a time. But I had an interesting store director as a kid. And a lot of stuff he does would never fly in this day and age. And he died about 10 years ago, something like that. But it was wild, wild west in the grocery store. And it's just a wild, different time. But I'll never forget when he first came to our store. It was about the same time I came. Every day, he came at the same time. What, are you used to that?
Dicks.
2 guys coming at the same time. That's what happens. But he came to that store when I was a kid, and I came about the same time. So got up there every day at 4 o'clock. He'd have the 4 o'clock meeting. So poor little Kyle would go to school. He'd walk to school at like 7 a.m., 7:15, be in school all day, get out of school at 3:15. I'd have to hustle home. I'd have to go put my shirt and tie on. I had to wear a tie as a kid. And I'd have to walk all the way to work, and I would get there right at 4 o'clock. It was like just a game of minutes, a game of inches, Angie.
You know what? You kept that tie tied, and you just did one of these.
Until I learned to tie it. My dad would tie it for me, and then I would do that. And then I finally
And then later
learned.
you're like...
And then I finally learned. But poor Kyle, I'd go to school all day, and then I'd go to work, and I could only work till 7 o'clock, because if you were under 16, you couldn't work past 7 or whatever. So then I'd have to walk home. I'd get home at 7:30. I'd eat dinner. I'd do my homework. Then I'd go to bed, and I'd have to rinse and repeat. Oh, my God. Terrible life. But this store director would get up there at 4 o'clock. It was called the 4 o'clock meeting. Up there by the punch card, everybody punched their hours in. You'd start the day. He'd get us all fired up here. And he just came from a grocery store in the chain that closed down. And at that time, we had never had a grocery store close down. They closed it down for one reason, though, Angie. You know why?
Rats.
Probably. But besides that, theft. It was in a bad location. They had so many shoplifters. And the rule was at that store back in the day, every full-timer had to catch a shoplifter before they went home. It was that easy.
Shift?
Every shift. It was
Oh
that
my
easy.
gosh.
And that's why Recently, after it closed down, it was abandoned for a long time, that building. Then it became a Dollar General. And now the Dollar General is closed down about a year ago because of the same thing. Too much theft. It's a terrible side of town. So he left that, came to our store, and our store started to have, shortly after he got there, started to have an influx of shoplifters. And not as extreme as his old store, but you had some. And it was a little bit of a tough area. You guys know me, West Side KP. I was like the movie Class of 1984, Angie. You had to fight for your life every single day. It was down there in the Junction. You know the Junction. Thursday nights in the Junction. You know about the Junction. It's a tough time. And, you had to be streetwise. You had to be street savvy there. You had to be able to fight the good fight like a young Triumph. It wasn't the nicest area. That's what we're going to say, And he would get up there every day at 4 o'clock, and he would just tell us, these guys are stealing from your paycheck. Your bonus, if some of the shoplifters here, he was still holding that grudge from that store closing, but he wanted us to catch shoplifters. He didn't have the rule that you couldn't leave before catching one. And I was a part-timer, so I would have been not having to do that anyways. But he was like, you catch a shoplifter, we teach them a lesson to never steal from here again. And that was the stuff. You will teach them a lesson, and grab a buddy, call them. There's the intercom system. You hit 70 and we'd have some kind of code word or whatever, Bob to 15 or whatever it may be to alert somebody. And you could tell who was shoplifting. You could know these kind of things. This is before cameras. And it was funny as he did put in at all the exits there. He put those like sensors as you're going out, but they didn't work. They weren't real. They were just, for show. Yeah. And he also put lights in the ceiling over like the beer case, the cigarettes, all this stuff. Once again, didn't really work, all for show, which I thought was interesting. And that did cut down a lot of shoplifting because of those. People thought they would get in trouble. People thought that was there. But we would still have shoplifters, especially Friday, Saturday nights. And I used to always have to work Friday night. I absolutely hated working Friday nights. And I would always try to get out of it, and it never worked out. And I hated it because the football stadium was there, and sometimes I would miss these football games. Then all my buddies and people would come in. It's like, you're at work, you're in your tie, and you're like, I don't want them to see me like this. And, and it's like, oh, here we go. They're going to give you the business and stuff. And like, oh, yeah, we're going to the party. We're going out here. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep checking. I'm going to fill the bread or something, Oh, it's just...
They're probably all in jail, though, now.
Well, most of them actually are. It was a class of 1984 once again. So
they get.
I definitely got the last laugh, but I did enjoy my time. I would have liked to have had some more fun. And but anyways, on Friday and Saturday, that's when the shoplifters would kind of go up a little bit more. And, there were some crazy things over the years. I work in about almost 10 years at this location here. There was a stabbing back in the garden center one time. There was a guy that pulled a gun on a customer service one time. A lot of different shoplifting stuff. But one night on a late Friday night, me and another shift manager, we were kind of eyeing this guy. Or he eyed him first and then called me over is how it went. But he was this shady character, we'll call him. He was back in the wine and spirits, and he was putting... Old English. You ever seen Old English 40 ounces?
Okay.
He had 2 of those, and he had like one of those long trench coats, and he was sticking them in the pockets on the inside. And I think I told the story on this channel one time, and if I haven't, I'll tell it in a future one, where the guy was stealing raw meat from a Walmart one time. That's a crazy story too. I'll never forget.
Gross.
But this guy was stealing stuff, and we saw him. We'd see him doing this. Like, we're not stupid. We know what's going on. And he was trying to get out of there. And the minute he went out the front door, what do you think happened?
Alarm went off.
I tackled him. Full on football Braun Breaker style, just running and bam, right there on the cement. Took him down right on the ground. Both Old Englishes broke when we landed on the ground.
Oh my god!
And then the other ship man
didn't stab him with it or something.
Well, we're gonna get there. So the other two managers came, and we grabbed him, and this guy was fighting. He was fighting like crazy. He was quite the character. He was throwing elbows, trying, but I got him from behind, so it's like whoa, and straight down, and then I'm on top of him, holding him down. And I was little Kyle then. I was a little guy. I wasn't big till I didn't grow and have a growth spurt till I was in college. So I was still a little guy. I was super fast, super quick.
I didn't even know you could tackle him.
Oh yeah, so we'll get there too.
Legally.
So tackled him at the door, and that's what our boss would always say: teach him a lesson. Make sure they'll never ever do this again. So we took him down. And I'm on him, and I'm putting elbows on him, and I'm hammering him from behind. The other 2 shift managers grab his arms down there, and they're putting like knees to him. I'm putting the knee to him. I mean, we're really roughing this guy up. And you could do this. It was the 90s, of course. And this was a tough area, so you had to fight for your life. Mm-hmm. So anyways, he wouldn't go. He's, MFing us left and right, all this kind of stuff, cussing at us and stuff. I realized this guy is about my age. I realized this. So, and finally we kind of get him and I see his face and I about died right there when I saw the face of this guy. As this was the number one thug at my school, like the leader of the gang. I mean, like a guy that had done a lot of bad stuff. He brought a gun to school one time and got like, I don't know why he wasn't expelled forever, but like this was like gangster number one is what this guy was. And everybody was scared to death of him because he was a kid that just didn't care. He would drop the F-bomb on a teacher. I mean, it was a wild thing. Class of 1984, check it out. It was kind of like that. But this guy was very feared by a lot of people because, you know, he would threaten to kill people. He had gangs. People would disappear. And, and you know, this is coming off of like 2 years before this where the girl I sat next to in 6th grade killed her grandma. Yeah, she killed her grandma. And I told that story, I think, before. That's like, yeah, guys, Christina's not going to be here anymore. You maybe saw on the news she killed her grandma. And then my music teacher, her husband ran away from her and her kids because she was a terrible person. I didn't like her. She was really mean. But he left and he kidnapped some like underage girl and left town. That was a whole thing on the news too. He kidnapped this underage. He was in love with her.
Oh my God.
It was a wild time. It was a wild time in my childhood, but I was scared to death when I saw this guy. I was like, oh no.
Did he see you?
Yeah. So I'm like hiding from then on. I'm like this. I'm like trying to hide my face. I don't want any recognition. The other two guys were not from our school. They were older than me, but he would refuse to do anything. And I remember I carried his legs. And the other ones, one had an arm, one had the other arm, and we carried him through the whole store all the way upstairs and threw him in one of the offices, basically. Kind of like a jail cell. And we called the police, of course, the finest, and they came in right here. And obviously, you know, they arrested him or whatever. They did juvenile hall. I don't know exactly how that all went. But, you know, we used to just beat the crap out of these guys. You know, and I'm sitting there hitting him with elbows, already tackled him. And then I got the knee in his back. I like... just the roughest stuff. I mean, we really would just do it to these guys. And like, it was kind of expected back then. Like that was what it was. And it was like, we were a simpler society once upon a time because guess what? This guy would think twice. He wouldn't shoplift again. I mean, I think this guy probably is in prison now or probably got shot in a gang shooting or something. But I was scared to death of this. I'm like, this guy is going to kill me. I remember telling the other guys, I'm like, this isn't good for me. I wish I wasn't involved in this because he literally will kill me. Like this guy was a serious thug. So happy to report he did not kill me. I know you guys can't believe it. He didn't kill me.
Did he ever approach you at school?
I never saw him again at school. So I don't know what happened here, but a whole thing. And this was a time where there was a huge thing. And I don't know, I lost my notes to what I've told on this story, but did I ever tell the story about the gang wars at my school, about the cowboys versus the blacks? That was what it was called, the blacks versus the cowboys.
I don't think so.
So the cowboys wore cowboy hats to school every day, and the blacks, they wore like their hoodie, like bandana things, the do-rags. And Kyle here didn't like to comb his hair in the morning, so I wore an Oakland A's hat every single day. I was like that guy from, what was that Michael Landon show? I know your dad probably used to watch it. Highway to Heaven. You ever see Highway to Heaven? I never watched that show, but I saw it. But there was the guy with the beard, and he always wore the A's hat. That was like me without the beard back then, but now I could be that guy. But I wore an A's hat every single day to school, every single day. And because of this gang warfare between all these, they said, we're outlawing hats because that was like the gang. You're a cowboy or a do-rag. And I'm like, but I'm just wearing an Oakland A's hat. I'm repping those 89 A's. It was only like 6 years after the A's won the World Series. I was very disappointed. These guys ruined it for everybody. I used to wear a hat every single day. I couldn't do that anymore. So that really, really grinded my gears. And I'll never forget one of his cohorts. One time they had the school on lockdown because there was a gun. So they locked the whole school down for us.
Oh my God.
I had to pee so bad. So bad. And I finally got the teacher. It was like just in the same hall, there was a bathroom. I actually got out to go to the bathroom. Like, all right, because I was a good kid. I never caused trouble and stuff. So they let me go to the bathroom and stuff. And I go in there, and there's one of those cowboys standing on the toilet seat. He's moving the tile up there, and he's throwing like a switchblade. And he goes, if you say anything, I'm going to kill you. And I just said, I'm just trying to pee. That's what I told him. I'm just trying to pee. I didn't see anything, and I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to get, more class in 1984. But I never saw this guy at the grocery store ever again. But I did beat up a lot more people throughout the years. We'd tackle people. We'd carry them into the office. There was all this kind of stuff. Until one fateful day, there was a grocery store chain that is no longer around. They went out of business, but that was our competition. And they tried to stop a shoplifter. And this is a couple miles from our store. He tried to stop a shoplifter. And he went out to the parking lot to apprehend him or whatever. And the guy had a knife and he just turned around and went bam, stabbed him right in the heart, killed him right there in the parking lot. ever since that day, you're no longer allowed to chase shoplifters. You really can't do anything. And you see videos online all the time. Sir, don't steal. Sir. And they just walk out like blazing.
Oh my God.
It's wild. So it's a whole different world. I'm not in that side of the world anymore, so I don't got to worry about shoplifters, but it's got to be annoying because you know this guy's stealing. You know what he's up to, and it's just a whole rigmarole. And I'm sure you guys watching this, you gals watching this, have dealt with some of this if you ever worked retail and stuff. But it goes back to Ross, where it feels like there's a shoplifter all the time. There's an alarm going off all the time. But man, once upon a time, we beat the snot out of people. And I'll never forget my old director saying, he's stealing money out of your paycheck, out of your wallet, out of your raise, out of your bonus, and you make them pay. Make sure they never do this again. But then, yeah, that guy got stabbed, and then it was a corporate thing where you don't do this anymore. And I've actually, in this company, people have got fired for chasing shoplifters, which is even more wild. So it's a wild time, Angie.
Ugh.
I've never told you that story.
I don't think so.
I've never told you. I bet I have. You just forgot it. Is
Yeah,
probably what happened. But a lot of crazy stories in the old shoplifting days once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe one day I'll tell about this grocery store where a guy, they found him 10 years. He went missing, and they found him in the walls of the grocery store 10 years later. Just a skeleton. So that's a wild story, too. Maybe we'll save that for a future one. But there it is. Little tales from retail, little shoplifting. Chime in with your shoplifting story in the comments down below. But Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts. All right, Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts. Let's bring this piece of business home. How about I got to get on the road to Chicago? Hopefully I can get a pizza in me. Hopefully I survive. Hopefully my back makes it. Will there be an episode 59? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I just can't wait for episode 69, Angie. What about you? What about you?
I love it.
She loves it. Well, Angie, you're in luck. The question of the week this week, we have two of them. One of them is about you, and I have not read this yet. But it says, from episode 56, we dive into Angie's sinkhole or something like that. You remember that episode?
Sure.
I haven't heard any updates on that sinkhole either. Have you?
No.
No, I don't think they fixed it. So maybe we should go do an on-the-site video. Should we go there? We should go reminisce. Let's go show it. We'll film all of it. Maybe we'll do that this weekend. We'll walk over there. We'll walk. They have a bike path over there. We can walk around. We could do a vlog of once upon a time. Maybe we just do a whole episode where we go there and then we go back to our first house and then we go back to my first apartment and then we go all the way back to where my Destro is lost. I could show you guys the house I grew up in.
That's beautiful.
Do we do that? Do we just do a special episode on location?
Yep.
We'll see how that works. I don't know. But Angie, this week's question from Josh Clinton, 31682. Question of the week for Angie. When you met Kyle, I don't believe he had any action figures or nothing like he has right now. Question. Correct. So it's grown a lot. I sold a few years before I met Angie. I sold off, and I've never told that story. I will do a video. It's so hard to say goodbye. Part 0. I'll tell that story one day. So do you remember the time where you realized that Kyle was serious about collecting action figures? Do you remember when I got serious? When I said, all right, guys, no more games here. I'm going to be a serious action figure collector. And you know Jeff George?
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
He always says on the phone to me, or I'll say it to him back occasionally, and we'll say, you just let me know. Like, he'll say, are you getting this new Mondo? And he's like, I'm getting 3 of them. He goes, Kyle, you just let me know when you're going to be a real action figure collector. You just let me know when that day is. So we kind of teasy stuff about that. But do you remember when I first said it's time to get serious about this?
No, I don't. It was such a slow build. I feel like that I don't even really remember it.
It was like, hey,
when we met, you had more of a music collection. You had a lot of CDs, a huge CD collection.
But I did have a pretty large Devil's Rejects collection, and I also had a pretty large like music related figures, and then I had a few special pieces. I didn't have them on display. They were still at my dad's, and my dad, when we moved to our first house, he gave me, here's your tubs of stuff you have.
Like,
get this out of here.
Where did we even have stuff in the first house? Was it in the basement or was it in your office?
What house?
Our first house.
I had my office was all my guitars and all my CDs, and then the basement was all classic superstars, Rocky. Had all the Jakks, Rocky, all the classic superstars on all the walls. Then I had the heavy bag, and then I had all the weight equipment, and then we had a little TV, exercise bike, elliptical. It was quite the setup down there.
Oh my god!
Once upon a time.
I don't even remember how it went to when, like. Because it used to be just that one room, the secret room. The walls had the legends on it or whatever. What are those?
Classic Superstars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the walls. But that was really like the majority of it.
Yeah,
it was pretty under control.
No, it was that. It was the classic Superstars and the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe. I had all of that stuff. That's the two lines that got me into collecting harder. I wanted to do Masters Universe Classics. I couldn't afford to do all three, so I just did those two. Later on, got those. But yeah, I built that room out. That was good. And then I started adding the detolfs with the elites. And then
it's kind of all a blur once the detolfs got involved.
Yeah, and then we started adding detolfs. It went from like 3 detolfs to 4 to 5 to 6. Then every time we went to Kansas City or Minnesota, since we don't have IKEAs around us, let's just grab one for the road. We'll get one. And then it just finally looped through. And then it started the Billy bookcases. And it's been a slow build. It wasn't like it was all overnight, that's for sure. And it keeps going. But I do need to sell a few more stuff. And I have been getting rid of some stuff. And anyways, that's another story. But
oh my God.
But do you remember when I got serious? Okay. But your initial thoughts on how many times have you asked him, when will you have enough? I don't think you've ever said, when is it enough? When is it enough? I don't think
the only thing that bothers me is when like the clutter starts to come into the main living space.
It's so bad.
It's bad right now.
It's so bad. And I am... So here's a peek behind the tent. Is that what it's called? Peek behind the tent?
Curtain.
Peek behind the curtain. Peek under Angie's dress, whatever you want to call it. I'm supposed to be off 4 days next week. And my plan is to reorganize my collection. I've put off my elites for so long. I need to reorganize. There's been so many ones. I basically need to take them all down and redo them. And by doing that, it frees up this, which I've just got a mess. And I hate it. And if somebody walked in my basement right now, they'd say, and I did a special Patreon exclusive. I did a Patreon exclusive walkthrough video of my absolute disaster around Christmas time. I did. I said, this is embarrassing to me. I said, I hate this. I hate this. And I know I'm not a hoarder because I know I hate it. That's how I know I'm not a hoarder, because I'm like, if you're a hoarder, like, oh, it's fine. It's not fine. It's the problem is I'm working 60 hours a week. I'm doing all these videos and stuff. I don't have time to put everything away and do it. It's just, there's not enough hours.
I can't help you. I love doing stuff like that, like organizing and stuff, but I can't help you. I don't know where to do.
You don't know what is what. You don't know what accessory. Like I have all these in boxes. So it's like, do these glasses go to this guy, this guy? Every 2 minutes you'd be saying, does this weapon go to this guy or this guy?
Remember when I was lining them all up, all your loosey-gooseys, and I would like drop a glass? No.
So I don't know.
I would drop something.
I have got to figure out a system next week. We'll see if I can do it or not. But God. I have 4 days. But the plot twist is, Angie, I'm going to end up working probably at least 30 of those 4 days at my day job. And I'm on vacation, but that's just the way it goes. Business doesn't stop. So when will you have enough? Angie has never said, when will this be enough? When will it be enough? She's never said that.
I'm chill, Babs.
Obviously you were on board with his display, taking up the entire downstairs in his office now with the channel and everything else. But what were the early pre-YouTube days like and your early thoughts? We already kind of just talked all about that stuff there, but it has definitely grown into extra rooms. It's just trying to keep it as clean and nice as possibly can. And I am a failure here, and I hate failing. I hate looking at myself in the mirror and saying, Kyle, this isn't what you want. And constant learning, constant learning, constant improvement. I always say that, and we all got to look ourselves in the mirror, but I absolutely hate how it is down there. But after you work a 10, 12-hour day, and then you film 4 videos or whatever, and you edit it, and then you go mow the yard, and then you eat dinner, and then you change into your jammies. You sit on the couch, and you're like, do I have it to work in this basement here? No, I'm exhausted.
It's time consuming, and you have to have a lot of patience. Like standing and organizing all those little guys standing up.
And one of the worst things I do is I will set something up, and I'll spend 2 hours, get it just how I want it, and I'll sit there, and I'll just look at it. I say, I don't like this. And then I'll take it all down, and I'll start over. And that just irks me because time is something I don't have enough of. And then it's just, it just eats me away. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know. So anyways, that's where that is. So yeah, good question though by Josh Clinton. He's a real one. That's a good real one. Now this is an interesting one, unnamed, which is interesting. Dear Kyle Peterson Show, greetings from a place where we take mail very seriously. Kyle, the show always delivers when Angie the mail girl comes on. Moral improves immediately. She knows how to work a pile, handle each piece with intention, and let the moment breathe before revealing what's inside. That kind of patience drives people wild in here. When Angie's talking mail, the block goes quiet. I know exactly where this goes because you remember my time before I met you when I was in Oz Penitentiary. I know where this is going. Eyes forward, full attention. Everyone respects someone who knows their way around a good delivery and never rushes the process. Keep the episodes coming. Keep Angie close to the mailbox. Remember, sometimes the anticipation is better than what's inside. What does that mean? I don't know. Locked in, lean forward, a faithful inmate listener. So Shout out to the inmates out there. You know, they're the real ones out there. And I think, Angie, in a plot twist, this could be the guy I did tackle for shoplifting.
This is my stalker.
This could be the guy I tackled for shoplifting very easily there. But it's nice to have inmates that watch these things and listen to these things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Like, one thing that's weird about inmates in this day and age, and maybe you can write back in and let us know, but it sounds like they get to watch a lot of TV. They get, like, internet time. There's a lot of weird stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the jail isn't what it once was. Like, I think I heard something about, like, they have their own iPads or something. Like, sounds like a vacation to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And you get 3 hots in a cot? Is that the old thing they said? You get 3 hot meals in a cot?
You just don't want to be on death row. That's why people say, I'll tell you everything. Just don't give me the death penalty.
It's funny. I saw an article the other day somewhere, scrolling the interweb somewhere, and it was about a girl that walked into like the police station.
Okay.
And she just walked in and just punched the officer right in the face. The first one she saw just drilled him to get arrested. And she wanted to be locked up to help beat her cigarette addiction. She couldn't quit cigarettes, and she knew if she got locked up that she would have to stop smoking.
Well, she probably wouldn't have to, actually.
I don't know. Can you get smokes in there now? I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's a smart thing. If you want to get off the hard stuff, that's what you do. But I could tell you, Angie, you guys saw, I was in Oz once upon a time. My buddy Beecher and stuff. There was a lot of crazy shenanigans. And I was in a room one time with a guy that looked just like Peter Criss. It was wild. It looked just like Peter Criss. I could have sworn it was him. But that was my time in Oz. But Angie, we've said enough. There's been too much going on here. Episode 58, is that where we're at?
I think so.
I think
I'm getting a
so.
headache.
I'm hungry. It's time to put this show to bed here. Episode 58. Not our best work, let's be honest.
I'm just pondering the next one.
Is pondering the next one. Is it episode 59 next? Yes. If you go 58, 59, and then 60 on our way to 69, which gets you to way to 100. So we'll see where it goes. But if you got any questions and you want to be the question of the week, send it. Send it to the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com or put it in the YouTube comments down below. We'll see it. We'll read it. We'll talk about it. We'll diagnose it. We'll dissect it. We'll do all those kind of things. Obviously, the Patreon, you get this episode and many other things very early over there. Best of all, you do support the channel. Like I said, last month we made $14 on this podcast, Angie. 14 like 95 actually. So this $40 dress put us in the hole. Put us in the hole.
And the $10 on the Doritos.
Oh my god. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
We'll never recover.
I need you to start saving these receipts so at least I can get some write-off action or whatever. But yeah, there's no way. This is the lost leader of a podcast. But I don't know, does anybody listen to this audio-wise? I mean, most people seem to watch on YouTube, but there are some people that listen to it. I don't know. I'd be interested. I don't know. Tell me if you're listening to the audio version of this. I would be very interested to know. I'd be very interested.
Audio version of me is just like, wah, wah.
Oh, I just had the back spasm. You see that? Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Oh my gosh, there's a shock through my whole body. What are we doing?
Tacos.
I need something more than that. Anyways, that's enough. I've said it all. Check out the Patreon. Leave your questions down below. But Angie, before we go, what did we learn today? What did we learn? Tell me about it.
Hulk Hogan, Ross.
It's all on you to bring this home.
Tackling, shoplifters. Just don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. Let's leave it there. That's a good way to leave it. So don't do drugs. So Angie, tell everybody goodbye in your own special way.
Bye.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I walk 47 miles of barbed wire. Use a cobra snake for a nail